Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a dip, Bitcoin down below the $70,000 mark, Ethereum kind of holding steady right around 2,500, and the rest of the crypto space. The altcoins, a mix of green and red. We do have a few dips, but we have a few gainers, pretty sideways today. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that many people are talking about, and that project is called SUI. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on with this market. We see the market cap slowly coming down. Yeah, we did get that Bart Simpson type of structure, and then we got a bit of relief to the upside, and now we're coming back down again. However, the trading volume is kind of stagnant. It's not like we're getting a lot of trading volume with this volatility. Now, we are expecting a bit of volatility, especially as we lead into the elections, right? 4 days away. So, meaning that we could get some volatility in the markets. We do see a bit of it here in the crypto space, of course. Bitcoin getting a bit of up and straight down to price action. Dead cat bounce, maybe. Ethereum doing the same thing, and the rest of the altcoins are pretty much the same. But I like the way the altcoin market is looking at the current moment. It's looking pretty bullish. Like if you look at it, even Cardano's looking strong. Even XRP is looking strong in comparison to what Bitcoin is doing. If you think about it, altcoins are looking better than Bitcoin at the current moment. Now, the microcaps could be a different story, but the top 100 right now, as you can see, is holding up pretty strong. SUI, of course, a big ecosystem that many people are talking about, because, of course, as the ecosystem grows, we're going to have a lot more utility, and, the price should do well, and so on and so forth. So all of a sudden, we see SUI going sideways and potentially looking for another continuation to the upside. We know that SUI has been a great gainer, and for that reason, many people are looking at Aptos for another opportunity within that move narrative. So Aptos right now coming down approximately 2%, maybe a good buy opportunity. And we do see some of the altcoins a little bit in the red, like Tau, 2.6% to the downside. We have FET, a little bit of a retracement here. So there are some buy opportunities, 100%. Even Stacks, so obviously Stacks at the current moment is following Bitcoin's lead, and the fact is that Bitcoin, looking a bit weak in the short term, is showing some weakness into Stacks, but Bitcoin really didn't even break out yet. The reality is Bitcoin is on a back test, and of course we're going to take a look at Bitcoin in a second, and then we'll jump right into the SUI chart. Just a reminder that we do use Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart, as an indicator, as a leading indicator for the market itself. Okay, so we're gonna touch upon Bitcoin, and then we're gonna take a look at SUI. At the current moment, we do see a lot of opportunities, right? Obviously, even Ethereum-based projects are coming down a little bit. We have Arbitrum in a potential bear flag here, even Optimism taking a bigger hit than expected. I'm slightly more bullish on Optimism than any other layer 2 out there, so I'm keeping an eye on it for sure. Thorchain Rune still showing a lot of strength despite any negativity in this market. This project is a beast currently with regards to price action and fundamentals, so definitely keep an eye on Thorchain Rune. Celestia continues to fall to the downside, dripping slow and steadily, right? So again, find those horizontal support levels, find that pivot point structure and DCA, but at the current moment, don't try to catch that falling knife. It's very likely that you're going to be in the red in the next little bit as it continues finding its bottom. Phantom still looking okay. It's only down 1%, 2.3% in 7 days. In comparison to the rest of the market, in fact, it's actually looking great. It's holding up, and that's all we could expect during negative momentums, because ultimately, when you see negativity in the market, and once the Bitcoin comes in, the bulls come in to show a response, the projects that are holding strong during bearish conditions usually bounce hard. And this is why I'm keeping an eye on some of these bullish ones like Thorchain, Phantom, and a few others there that are looking pretty good. And as we keep on going down, guys, Mantrax keeps on moving. It's definitely a bullish project, keeps on moving. I'm not buying until we get a decent retracement, and it may mean that I'm not going to ever find my entry, and I'm totally fine with that. Definitely fine with that. We see exchange tokens taking a bit of a dip. So what's happening there? Maybe the market is taking a bit of a break, but generally speaking, guys, very sideways. A lot of projects are not making lower lows. Some of them are, but nothing major. Aerodrome Finance is doing great, Pendo's doing great, and many other projects doing great. So we have to understand that there are going to be days of negativity, and there are going to be days of which microcaps bleed out a lot harder because of course they're risk on. But ultimately, as long as the market is going sideways and not making lower lows, big picture lower lows, guys, we're doing okay. So this is the time where you have to have that conviction and deploy a little bit of capital and start DCAing. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of these charts. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin, and we'll take a look at Bitcoin real quick. This is the SUI chart, but I feel like we need to look at Bitcoin first because ultimately Bitcoin as a leading indicator might give us an edge as to what's going to be happening in the next little while with regards to altcoins. Because if Bitcoin continues to push down, you know what's going to happen to the altcoins. They'll likely fall down as well. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Bitcoin at the end of the day is doing exactly what I expected. And earlier on, I did put this, dip scenario right into here that we were going to come down. Why? Because the 4 hour, the lower time frames, particularly beginning with the 4 hour, was looking quite bearish in the sense that there was a rollover coming in. Now, if you look at what's really happening, we're back testing the breakout. Now, it could be a swing failure, right? We swung to the upside. We could come down, get back into this structure, and, come down for a lower low and hit 52,000. Obviously the market would bleed out, right? In that case, another capitulation event. But reality is, even if that were to happen, big picture, I'm not too bearish here because we've came here into this area many times. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here because we do have a lot of support below. The fact is that we do have this high, we have this high, and we have the volume right into here. The volume of all of this, as you can see based on the volume profile, we have nodes of volume that could act as support. Mind you, the diagonal trend line, of course, you guys know that I don't like diagonals, but it could still hold up, right? So we're not really given anything concrete here to be bearish. Why? Because if you look at this trend, and the trend right now is definitely still our friend, we can see that we're still making higher highs and higher lows. We're still moving to the upside here, okay? So until we change directions with a change of character of the structure, guys, maintain calm. We could continue and we should continue to the upside once we form some sort of support level and continue to the upside. In the meantime, we could expect altcoins to do well also. And this is why I am heavily distributing some capital. I sold a bit of Bitcoin today to get into some of the altcoins that I need to get some exposure to. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, but Mike, why are you selling your Bitcoin? Bitcoin didn't even break out. But the reality is that once Bitcoin does break out of this structure, it is going to get into price discovery. And once it gets into price discovery, the sell-off begins bit by bit for Bitcoin. Because once you're in price discovery, things get risky for Bitcoin because there's no previous price action. And I'm not willing to take any chances in price discovery in uncharted territory. In fact, I know that Bitcoin is going to go for a move to the upside, but then I start calculating the reality of what Bitcoin could do. Could it get to 150? Okay, I'll double my money. That's fine. It's great. But I know if I take a bit of risk here into altcoins, I could 10x my money. And that's the reality. I want to be able to maximize my profitability in this moment in time of this cycle, because ultimately it's supposed to be a risk on moment, right? Bear markets, risk, you control your risk. It's not a time to take risk. Downtrends, of course, but if we're going to continue this momentum to the upside, big picture, now is the time to take a bit more risk. So I sold a bit of Bitcoin, not my long-term spots, the Bitcoin that I've been holding for multiple cycles. I sold the Bitcoin that I bought for this cycle, which means that I'm ready to get risk on. Okay, so that's that. I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm more bullish on the crypto space as a whole rather than just Bitcoin itself. Okay, so this is where we're at now. If we get this bounce, I'm expecting nice moves to the upside, and I'm expecting bullish projects in this space to do very well and follow along Bitcoin's lead. All right, so that's that. And of course, tonight we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance. We'll take a look at Ethereum. We'll take a look at any other projects that you may have. Feel free to join the live stream tonight. I'll definitely put your requests in top priority. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at what's going on with SUI, because this is a project that really is defying gravity. And to be honest, I'm a bit hesitant here. However, I did buy more SUI today, and my mindset is very simple. Look, I'm bullish on SUI, I'm bullish on Solana, I'm bullish on many layer ones, but ultimately I want to get involved in their ecosystem. Their ecosystem relative to the price of SUI is still at the bottom of the range. A lot of those projects are still at the bottom of the range, and for that matter, their market cap is very, very low, meaning there's a lot of potential still for gains to catch up to SUI itself. So what I'm looking for here is either a continuation to the upside, where we get a V recovery and continue. And guys, you know, if it's going to happen, it could happen now. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this could be even a shakeout where people get bearish, people exit their positions, and the market decides to run without them. And that is another Max Payne scenario. Imagine waiting for 3 years for a bull run and getting shaken out of your bags, and the market leaves the station. Basically, the train leaves the station without you. That is very, very painful. So in my opinion right now, I'd rather endure a bit of pain if it does come down, because I'm convicted and I'm willing to buy dips either way, but I'm not going to endure the pain if the market decides to leave without me. And worst case scenario, I do see the possibility that we structure out here. You know, maybe we get into some sort of pennant or flag or something like that. And ultimately, this will start looking like Bitcoin structure, which is a massive cup and handle, essentially waiting for a breakout to the upside. So ultimately, there's a lot happening here in this chart. I know it looks very simple because it's a nice round bottom, nice recovery, but just keep in mind, these were the times where I got my initial bags here on SUI. And what I'm doing in this level is coming up with a strategy for shorter term trades that could ultimately be longer term holds, because we don't know what SUI has up its sleeve, particularly the projects that are built on SUI. Right? So that's what I'm looking at. Now, I know right here, this is tough because you're buying tops, but we have to get used to buying into impulsive moves. This was an impulsive move, clearly an impulsive move. And once we build a structure at the top of the impulsive move, we can now basically mitigate risk by putting stop losses underneath the structure. And at the current moment, there is no structure. I get it. But at the end of the day, also, what about if we make a quick V recovery and continue going to the upside, right? It happens, guys, especially once altcoin seasons and bull runs start. These shakeouts come and they go so quick. So either way, like I said, if we get a rejection here and come back down here, I'll buy more. If we come back up and get a rejection and come back down, I'll buy more. And ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm accumulating down at these levels, anticipating a breakout to the upside. And I understand the difficulty of DCing. The major difficulty is how do you raise the liquidity to buy down here at these levels as the price, comes down and induces a bit of pain. How do you do that, guys? Everybody needs to have their own strategy how to raise capital. We need dry powder. Take profits on good gainers. So that way you can use those gains to accumulate at lower levels on really bullish projects that you may have. Right? So that's basically what I'm looking for right now, is accumulation if we do come down, but at the same time, I want exposure just in case this thing decides to run. Now, let's take a look at some oscillators, because we are clearly at some sort of resistance, clearly at the tops, okay? And we need to pick up enough bullish bids to break out of here. Now, if we look at the momentum on the daily, it's not looking great. I'm very aware that it's not looking great. Look at the momentum to the downside, and keep in mind, today I did buy a decent bag of SUI, and it's all about time frame perspective. Look at the daily, look how bearish it looks, right? We could hang out here in the chop zone, and at worst case scenario, we get oversold and get down to this level. Very possible, okay? Very, very possible. However, what is also possible is that similarly, when we were in a bearish state, as you can see here, Okay, similarly, in a bearish state, we could use the chop zone as resistance, as we did here and here and here and almost here, until we broke to the upside and broke the trend. Now, what about if this happens here also, where eventually you can see that we are bullish, the trend, the momentum is definitely upwards? What about if we hang out here for a bit and go overbought again? I'm not willing to take that chance, because if that happens, altcoin season on. If that happens, bull run continuation on. And I'm not going to be left on the sidelines waiting for that perfect dip to get oversold. But in the meantime, I am prepared to buy the dips if it does come down here once again. Okay, so this is the psychology now, and understanding that timing bottoms is going to leave you behind. If that's the case, the best strategy is to DCA and, you know, put in buy orders at strategic levels so that you can gain that exposure at appropriate times. Right now, for me, I'm preparing for SUI's bigger move to the upside, and I think it could happen. But although it is risky, because it is at the tops, as I always say, don't buy tops. But eventually, we're going to have to make some critical decisions here as to, are we going to buy some sort of structure at the top? Structure is great because you can come up with a plan. EMA is facing down. We got red histogram bar still. We got the blue expansion to the downside. So not looking good. We are getting some divergence, as you can see right here. So follow through to the downside, which got us this little dip and then a nice reaction. Could this be a dead cat bounce where we come down even further? Very possible here, guys. So I'm definitely waiting for that opportunity. Could we come down and touch the 200 daily EMA? And let me show you where that is. It's right here, the orange line. Could definitely possible. If the 200 daily EMA slowly trails to the upside alongside the price action, we could definitely do one of these, tag it right here and go to the upside. But just keep in mind that, you know, this is the daily time frame, and how much time do we really have for this to happen? Right? It's going to take another, you know, 2 months, 3 months. Like, that's an extreme amount of time to have to wait again to see the price action go sideways. Guys, you remember, we got 5 days till the elections. We could get a major catalyst here in the next couple of days. Again, align yourself accordingly. Now, if we get on lower time frames, what I was looking at earlier here on the 4 hour is the fact that, you know, we were pushing to the upside here, and I appreciated that. I appreciate what was happening, because as SUI was pushing up, Bitcoin was looking a bit frothy on the 4 hour, whereas SUI, in fact, was looking pretty good. He got a full reset, bullish divergence, and is currently getting some follow through. What's interesting to me is what is going to happen when the 4 hour gets overbought in a very extreme way, because it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened yet. You can see that. Barely did it get overbought here. Barely did it get... This is a nice overbought scenario, right? And then you can see how much divergence we were getting until we got some follow through. Look at all this divergence. Class A bearish divergence. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum, all the way up until right around this. And then we got some follow through to the downside, as you can see. But we got a full reset. Bullish continuation to the upside is possible. And once we break the previous highs, again, we're moving for another expansion and most likely getting into price discovery. And that's when FOMO starts to kick in once again. And that's how altcoin season begin. The fear of missing out, people start getting in, piling in, because they don't want to miss out. And I understand, because technically speaking, we are all in this current stage. We are waiting for an altcoin season that we do not want to miss out on. So again, DCAing based on lower time frames, even the 4 hour is decent right now. As you can see, it's very possible that we do get that continuation based on this rounded bottom divergent scenario right here. And that's super bullish to see on the 4 hour. And that's not even, you know, the smallest time frame. Good. On the 4 hour, we can start looking for entries. It's fairly sideways. It hasn't gotten overbought or oversold in the last little while. This is why we're going sideways in the chop zone. Could this be a bull flag? You can see clearly impulsive move, sideways price action, bull flag. Do we have enough strength? Again, if you look at back where I'm looking at, to target this top. If we target that top on this bull flag, it starts to break out of here and FOMO kicks in. And then the retail market starts to deploy a lot more capital. You get what I mean? Even though we don't have that much of a retail presence at the current moment, whatever we do have, such as you and I, we start looking for price discovery, price action very, very quickly, right? Just remember, price discovery, things start to get risky, but you never know what could happen in this market given the fact that altcoins barely left the station. So we're looking at really good price action here in the next little while. I think that, you know, we endured a bit of negativity. I think the market's fairly hesitant to see what happens with the elections, and that could be why we're going to see a bit of choppiness in the next next little bit, but it's a perfect time to align your portfolio in preparation for what's yet to come in the next few months. Guys, if I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to join me on the live stream, I guess, guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.